onto the eye. And how are those 5 pledges working out for the real Rishi, Paul?
Absolutely.
The real Rishi.
The real Rishi.
We're finally seeing that guy.
So, yes, a quarter of population now on the NHS waiting list.
Ouch.
A poll suggests in a warning to Rishi Sunak. So the Prime Minister has promised to bring down waiting lists by the time the next general election happens. Of course, he's going to have to. I think the biggest victim of the COVID pandemic has been the service that the NHS has been able to provide. I think we have, I can't speak for us all actually, I know people that have been through cancer treatment in the last year or so, and when you get into the system works very well. But the front end of the system, I think we've seen a massive decline in my lifetime at the front end of the NHS, and a huge sort of exponential decline since the pandemic, because the pandemic sort of put this huge wall between us and GPs in particular, where, you know, you have to see a pandemic, you have to see a paramedic.
Yeah, you've got to get pots and pans and bang them before they...
Please come and help me! There's some lady called Sharon who wants to know why you're back with the same war issue before you can get anywhere near a doctor. And I think at the front end of the NHS we've got a huge problem. The fact that this says in the INews that there's a quarter of Great Britain on the waiting list, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, because it's a quarter of people that were asked and they said they've been waiting or their experience.
It's a very damning headline. Certainly, they vowed to bring it down, and actually waiting lists have gone up. And yes, I agree with you. The pandemic obviously has played a part. Also, Adam, arguably strikes. But this could also be seen as a sort of systematic failure of this government. These are issues. These are problems that are set up years in advance by lack of investment to get to the point where we're in now, where there's just not enough of a system in place to deal with the numbers of people in this country.
I think the biggest worry is that 1 in 4 people are ill.
Yes.
That's the biggest worry.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, we could probably make this waiting list shorter just by telling anyone over 70 they're not allowed to talk about what else is wrong with them when they leave the doctor.
That's what it is.
I've seen them. They're going, and enough in my bag, and and I'm like, just get out, I'm waiting next. But people are too polite. We need ruder doctors. That's what we need.
Just hanging out at the GP, just going, look at these guys, look at these guns.
Wait a minute.
My book, How to Be a Better GP.
By quite terrifying.
Adam